Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to Mirror Interpretation Todorova. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. My name is Ioana and I am an interpreter, and here you're gonna find a different information that I share about my life as a language provider, interpreter, and polyglot. Happy New Year's to you. Happy 2020. Today is it's a January 8th of 2022. Um, and I want to share a video. I made a video like that last year called Discover Your Brain. Mm, and I just read, it happened to me that I fell into this a Russian researcher that was talking about Pythagoras method. I don't know if you know, guys, but I did study philosophy and philosophy of art for about 7 years. Um, and I studied all these philosophers, and I studied Pythagoras, Socrates. Anyways, I did have a very interesting school years because I was able to choose some of the things that I like to study in my country from, I believe, from 14 to 18. In high school, you have obligatory like literature, maths, and just history, I believe. And then you can choose if you want to study chemistry or statistic. And I was able to pick what I like, and I study art, psychology, philosophy, and different interesting things like that for the next 4 years. And so lately, I just fell into this. I just bump into this thing called Pythagoras method. Um, and the Pythagoras method, it's existing in exercises. I have them here. Um, which I didn't know back then, but when I was a child, I would do this exercise, not exactly as they describe it in Pythagoras method, but somewhat different. Uh, I didn't have the books, nor internet, no phone, no TV. If you guys follow me for some time, you know that I grew up in a very remote place, extremely isolated from the civilization. And I was doing this exercise with myself. I believe it's the reason that helped me survive and make me different person, make me who I am today. And I just want to share these exercises with you. Although in the beginning, when I was growing up, I was thinking that I was different and that was a bad thing, you know. I was trying to act dumb or speak dumb like other people in order to be accepted by this society where I was. And somewhat I believe this still happening today, to have to lower yourself to everyone to get to somebody lower level of intelligence. Happens to work with people like that. Also, I made a video that I will share with you about my experience. But let's start with exercises that I did to develop my brain. There are different exercises here. As I start talking about Pythagoras, I feel like I should start sharing the story or the theory of Pythagoras and the way of developing your self. So, as you know, he was not only philosopher, but he was also mathematician. Number one, so he give this exercise in this version at night. in your memory, try to think of something that you did during the day in a great detail, or like overpass the things that you did during the day, like get up, get shower, did this, did that, and so on. So, like, try to remember in detail the things that happened, the facts, and how, as much as detail as you can. Me personally, what I did, and I think I still do, because I used to have a very, very harsh life, the first 20 years of my life, uh, I would try to remember something good that happened to me. And it's because my life was very, very sad and there was not much thing happening. The good thing would be somebody smile for me, or I see somebody hug someone, just see some positive emotion or something good that happened. This was one of the very important things that kind of saved me, kind of helped me survive, you know. And the number two things that I did, again, similar, like using this exercise, but don't do exactly what Pythagoras advised, because I didn't know who Pythagoras was back then, because I was just 4, 5, 6, 7. I was very young. Um, I would try to think about the things that I do, my decisions, and if I like them, and if I liked myself, and if there's something I could do better or wiser, or if I was proud of my decisions, you know, that was a big thing for me. um so for example, if I didn't like myself or if I was ashamed, uh things like that, you know, things like that, just parts of information that I would try to elaborate how I deal with certain situation or people or stuff like that, and if I actually like that. Uh, okay, that was my childhood exercise. Uh, another thing that helps your memory is gonna be a storytellers. I don't know if you guys know, but in the past, there was these storytellers, because they didn't have TVs and Instagram and social. There would be these gatherings. I have been when I was a child in the mountains. They would make a fire at night on the crossroads, and you're gonna sit and people will tell stories about, I don't know, fire, water, storms, I don't know, people. I get a little bit melancholic because I think this sounds so crazy to share it right now. I was in the mountains and they would bring firewood and start a fire, and the older people will tell story and we're gonna play, and just if you wanna we listen story or run around, you know. So the story tale helps with your memory, and I will tell you why. Especially if you try to remember details of a story, remember how what somebody wears, what color of their pants, of their shirt, the hair, the style of the hair. Um, a lot of details like that really help your brain. So okay, so counting. The Pythagoras mathematician, and I'm gonna give you 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna just give you example of these exercises. Um, I personally find them a little bit boring, but they do help you, especially if you write them. I did study a lot of maths, so that's why I find them boring. But if you want to challenge your brain, you can do this and see how it works. So that was exercise that I was doing as a child too. Uh, counting, yes. Counting is a technique that they use in meditation as well. Uh, For example, if you go to any of those monastery or Buddhist places, you will have a mala, which I do, but I don't have it here right now. But you're gonna count the beads and say om, om, or you're gonna have, if you cannot use a mantra, you can use number 1, 2, 3, 4. Count those numbers. They would be a silent walks where you count your steps, just to keep your brain busy in a way, or to keep you present in the moment. And all these exercises in meditation are used in silence. For example, this is what I experience in these meditation centers. As a child, they make you count, I know, 2, 4, 6. I can do it in memory because I have done it so much in Bulgarian, but it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. This is the first exercise, counting 2, 4 like that, 2 numbers up. The second way of exercising, a little bit more challenging, is counting down, like 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0, -2, -4. This is that type of exercise. People start from 198, 96, 94, 92, 90, 88, 86, 84. So do you understand how this thing works? 2 numbers down. And this is easy for me because I have done it a lot of times. Then we go to the more challenging. I have done these ones too as a child as well. This how boring my childhood was, you guys can imagine. For example, 3 numbers up. So you start 3, 6, 9, 12, 12 and 3, 15, and 3, 18, 21. Do you understand how this thing works? I think you got it. And then counting down is like this. Let's say 100 minus 3 is gonna be 97. Minus 3 is gonna be 4. 94, 91. Do you understand? So you minus 3 from each number, or simply 9, 6, 3, 0, minus 3, minus 6, minus 9. That's how you count down with -3. Then the third part, this I have done. The third part I haven't done so much, but the last 2 I have done writing them. That's, I do Sudoku sometimes. You probably know Sudoku. I do have few books there just for fun. This also help your brain, by the way, and crosswords as well. So, but we're talking about number exercises here. So the next one is you have 2 rows of numbers. One you increase with 2 and another increase with 3. I'll give you example. 2 and 3, 4, 6, 6, 9, 8, 12, and so on. And then the same thing but decreasing. The bigger number -3, the smaller number minus 2. 99, okay, 66 and 99. Then we have 64, 96, 62, 93. This, if you go and do this QR test, most of them are based on those type of Pythagoras calculation. There is huge part in this intellectual IQ test that they use this Pythagoras method, and they give you these tables with numbers. That's why I believe that all these IQ tests, you can learn the IQ test and you can get a great result. I used to get 148 in IQ because I learned how the numbers work. But I didn't speak 5 languages back then when I did this testing. I don't know, maybe I should do it and see how this would be like. So this is about numbers. This is Pythagoras method about numbers. And there is something very interesting because I do some very, this is very weird that I share with you. Uh, Another thing is doing logical exercises. Uh, there is a books and a website. I used to study algebra and geometry. All these exercises about geometry are very, very interesting. I think I was very fascinated by geometry and coding because they use your imagination and also your logic, and you have to find a solution. I used to love that. I used to love maths in specific geometry. Algebra, I hated it, although I had to learn it for my university exam in Bulgaria. So that's about the Pythagoras method. Uh, so I want to share a few other things that are very interesting that I try to do. And one of this is called once a week do one new things. And you can visit a new place for food. Uh, okay, so I don't know if you guys know people that have strokes. Normally the strokes destroy the brain connections that send these nerves. So people that have strokes start to teach. They teach them to do the same thing again and again, and slowly the brain can discover this connection and make the people able to do this. No, so new things, I mean, visit a new store, new road, new restaurant. I try to go to a hike or go to a place. Normally on Sunday, it's my day where I do one things for myself. To do something, to go to a place, I don't know, go to, but this one thing, a new thing a week. Sometimes if the weather is bad, could even be watching the sunset or the stars or driving to some place where I can see the view of the city, or going to a cinema and see a new movie by myself. It could be anything that I haven't done. Concert, art gallery, park, store. Just change. Just change, just change what I'm doing. Um, usually I have a rule with myself to visit at least one new city a year, a new place. Um, every now and then I do hike every Sunday. I go to discover a new hikes, a new places that I don't know, where sometimes I get lost and I have to find my way back. And this is very challenging because of many reasons. So I do discover new hikes where eventually I take friends, which mean I go alone to hike them first and study all the environment around to make sure that I'm confident enough to take another person with me, number one. And number two, I have this rule to visit a new country at least once a year. New island. If I have visit the country, I'll visit a new place, new island. Uh, just just a new thing. This is very a lot of fun. I love doing this. And I have this list with things that I like to do, like a bucket list, for example. One of those things is a balloon ride. Or when I go to Europe, I promise to myself I want to go to Cappadocia in Turkey. And then one of these other places called Plitvice. I want to go to Plitvice. It's these lakes with waterfalls. Here in Colorado, I want to go to Hanging Lakes, the dunes. I don't know. There is this crocodile reserve there. There is a different bucket list that sometimes in the evening I just giggle in my phone and I look for those places. I'm like, oh yeah, I would like to see that. One of the things that I did last month, I went to Meow Wolf in Denver. Um, Once a month, I go to this. It's called First Friday Walk, Art Walk. Oh, I think it was yesterday, and I miss it. Oh, yes. So I do these things once a month, and then I have this bucket list that things that I would like to visit or see or do. Some of them near me, some of them not so close. Or for example, I have part of my family in Italy, and there is this museum in Florence called Uffizi. I love Florence and I've been there so many times. I was providing recruiting services and language services for this organization, Lunga Vita, that is based in Florence for since 2006, 7. And I have never visited this museum called Uffizi. And I always promise to myself that I'm gonna go to Uffizi once I'm back to Italy again. You know, these kind of things that I've been so many times in Rome and I haven't seen the entire place of Vatican with Cappella Sistina di Michelangelo. I would like to do that. Yes, you understand me. So I have my bucket list of things that I would love to do. The number 2 brain exercise. So I do make a dream list every year, dream list of places. So I'm looking for a new country this year to visit for spring. Maybe you can suggest a beautiful country that you can visit from USA. One of the other bucket lists that I have is going on a cruise. I never been on a cruise, although I think I'm gonna be so scared because I've been traveling a small cruises, like day trip on boat. Sometimes I get seasick when it's very very motioned, but I have never been on a cruise, so I would like to go on a cruise. Um, I don't know, just anything, a road trip whatsoever. Florida. I haven't been to Florida. I want to visit a friend there too. So yeah, make your bucket list with places that you would love to visit, and I normally choose the place that I want to visit, and then I look around and I see if there is some other things there that I would like to see, which is so much fun. This is my evening brain break. Sometimes I do this. I love that. So I think that's very, very exciting too. It makes you feel excited about life. And you see, I can talk for this forever because I'm so excited doing stuff like that. Reading books. So I do have maybe, I do have one, two, three, maybe I have like 4 books that I read right now. They're in different languages and in very different environments. I do have one in Espanol, es called Una Vita de Proposito. Very interesting book. Is based on the Bible and the belief that your life have purpose. Or in English, it's called Life with Purpose. I love this book. It's very meditational, beautiful. I love it. I'm talking about reading books out of studying medical terminology and languages. And I know that this sounds a little bit too much, especially when you work a lot, but it's a beautiful thing. You don't have to read a lot. I try to read half a page every day of something. Also, sometimes when I'm bored by these shows and TVs and whatsoever, for example, last night I started to read Journey to Lhasa for Tibet. And then I have this book in the toilet. I have 2 books. I advise you to do this. One is Spanish medical terminology, and another one is about abusive relationships. And then I do read a book called Boundaries and How to Set Boundaries. And then I have one of these Romanzo Rosa Pink Rom. You can laugh. I do. Why not? Why not? It's all right. It's a vacation for you. So read books at least few rows a day. I do try to do this. My rule is helps your imagination. Sometimes I like to read something and imagine how this person would look like. I don't know if you guys know Agatha Christie. She used to have these yellow crime books, and I have read quite a lot of them back in Europe. I would go to the library and just like they were like small chocolates. I would read them and like in the beginning of the book, I will try to guess who is the main killer and who did it. So it's funny. The number 2 things is it's helps you with vocabulary. Yes, you do. I do learn new words, and this is beautiful. I love that. And concentration helps you with concentration. I do agree on that. helps you to develop your memory and opens your mind to other people realities. That's why I like to read books. For example, I have one book that is from this French writer Noel, one book that is from this Spanish writer, one book that is from this black lady. I forgot her name, but she's very inspiring about boundaries. And I just got another book by this, I believe it's Afghanistan girl. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and everybody have their own style and their own culture and their own perception of reality. And I think there is nothing more beautiful than seeing somebody's different perception of reality. The number 4, we talk about Pythagoras. Do new things once a week. Read books, help you a lot. And then I know you guys gonna laugh, but learn new languages helps your brain to work better. This is approved. They did make a research and they discover, I don't know if you guys know, but in Europe you could see older people studying languages. And I had, while I was in the university, there was this person that was studying business management with me, and he was in pension. So if you go to these very highly aristocratic people that have their career, that are already in pension, you can find these people in Switzerland, or some high society, very high society people. They will start to study masters in advanced age, and this is gonna help them with their memory. And the other thing that older people like to do is to learn languages. This is advised by the doctors. Learning languages, um, learning new languages affect your brain positively, lower the risk of dementia. This is approved. And older people study new languages not because they want to be fluent, but because help your brain to create new linking in the nerve system, and is considered as a part of a self-care. Also, they made a research and they discovered that during the interpreting, there is unusual brain behavior that the interpreter who works actively use their entire brain lobe. So learning new languages is very useful, and practicing interpretation, it's a very, very useful tool for your brain. I love this part, this research that they made about the brain. I think it's beautiful that learning languages could be considered part of a self-care. I think this is so beautiful. I always thought that learning new words, new languages, new meanings is so inspiring to me. Number 5, poems. I know I know you can guys laugh, but I don't know. There is this writer right now, and he come to my name. His name is Khalil Gibran, and I believe this writer is from I don't think it's Persian. I think I met this guy from in the university, and he was talking a lot about Khalil Gibran. I did knew some part of the Khalil Gibran, but he writes also these quotes. Some of them you could see on Instagram or the social media. He's an Arabic or a Muslim writer, and I will tell you, in every culture and in every language, they have these beautiful poets, beautiful writers. Um, I will give you example. Even Charlie Chaplin, that was an actor, he wrote a letter to his daughter, and Angelina Jolie actually in one of her speeches verbatim citate this uh, Charlie Chaplin letter that he wrote to his daughter. And this is when I stopped to actually like Charlie Chaplin. I stopped liking Angelina Jolie. She won an Oscar for one of the movies, and then in one of her speeches, she verbatim citate the Charlie Chaplin letter toward his daughter. And it's very inspiring to read when people speak with their souls. And the 5th exercise of your brain is to memorize poems or a beautiful parts. I do have a special book where I do write poems myself, which probably are not bestsellers. I gotta tell you that. But writing poems is a beautiful exercise for your brain, and I do like to write. I do write. I have a book that somebody in Canada gave me, Jean-Francois Coutin, and he told me that I should collect them, and I was like, oh, I never thought about it. So I still have this book, although he gave it to me 10 years ago, where I would collect my poems. But then I have another book where I would write if I read something really beautiful or really inspirational, and memorize it. For example, memorize a beautiful phrase or a beautiful part of the poem, or a song, or a prayer, or read a poem, because your brain synchronize your memory with your speech, and memorize new words. Of course, this is what we do. If you're member only, you see how I do this once a week. Or small fragments or rows. I don't know. Do you know, guys, the story Mano di Fatima? There is a lot of these symbols that mean something, uh, that people wear and they don't know where it's coming from. The lucky symbols. Mano is the hand of Fatima. This is coming from Persia again. I love Persian stories. There is so much beautiful books. Um, I think there is something magical. I never been to Persia. I met Persian people. They have this something, I don't know, it's like this magical mystery inside. So I love their stories, and they also have this book called Mille e una notti. I also advise you 1001 Nights. I do like Indian literature as well. I do read. I have read their Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad. Some of their Buddhist religious books are interesting, or their mythology. I do like Greek mythology. Out of the modern books, there's also these very interesting books about history and mythology and wisdom, and some of them are very masculist or misogynist, as you call it in English, maschilista in Italiano. And it's very funny to read those cultural books. I have read the Quran myself in Russian language. Also, religious books are interesting to read. Sometimes you can read just 2 rows and it's too much. The same with Bible. I gotta tell you, I'm 37 and I haven't read the full version of the Bible. Yes, these books that you see I have read, but I'm talking about the full versions of the Bible that is like that big in Europe, not like here in America. They make everything simple because we want to be more reachable. But there is a full version of the New and Old Testament. Old Testament, of course, I have read. The New Testament up to maybe the part that start with the Psalms, because the Psalms are so hard to read. Although I do have my small Bible with me that I read Psalms every morning for my own practice and protection. And then pray. I think that there is nothing more beautiful than pray. In different cultures, in different languages, there is different praise that I have heard. And I think this is beautiful. I know some Hindu praise, I know Christian, I know uh, little words in Arabic, like for example, Inshallah or Alhamdulillah, and so on. I know a little bit of, no, I know a little bit in Russian, of course, because I work with Russian, and in one of my videos, I address how important it is to know just a basic pray like Padre Nostro, Our Father. Of course, I know in Italian some praise. Meditation and praying is very important. And if you don't know me, or if you know me, I do have one last exercise, And I call this exercise turn your brain off. I do have time every day that I stay quiet. And this is called Muna. I also try to do it once a week, usually on Sundays when I hike alone, is to be quiet, because in our job as an interpreters, speaking all the time about people's problems, it gets you, drowns you, it exhausts you. And in order to refine back with yourself, I believe that we need to stay quiet. And there is something magical in being able to stay quiet for 2 hours. um I know some friends, some people that know me, or for example Jose, the moderator of our channel, he knows me that during the week I don't want to talk to him. He knows that it's my quiet time in the evening. I have time with myself to be quiet and just do nothing, just be quiet. I can maybe paint or not even listen audiobooks or just maybe organize my head. Usually I would like to organize things in my home, separate things for donation, just be with myself, just be quiet, and have no information that comes in. This is very, very, very important. No information mean don't play games on your phone, or just no quiet times. For me it's no speaking, no TV, no game playing, no watching some stuff happening, just relaxing time. It could be painting, it could be just sitting and thinking and maybe praying, or maybe just be actively quiet with yourself. uh, that was my tips for brain development, Pythagoras method, and some other things that I do. I hope you guys find this video useful. Thank you for being here. um, and one more thing that I do. um, Music. Music is very, very important thing, I believe. Sometimes in my quiet time, I would use 10 or 20 minutes to listen classical music. I don't know if you guys, but they were research find that listening classical music develop your brain and affects your neuron and affects the way your lobe function, different lobes of your brain, how they function. So I do advise you to listen classical music, which means piano, instrumental, cello, violoncello, or violin, or any orchestra concerts. I do listen that sometimes as well. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I hope you like this video. I would enjoy if you share below in a comment what kind of things you do for your brain. Uh, Another thing is physical exercise, but this is I can talk so much about this because I do love my brain and there's so much things that I do for myself. So I would like you to share below what do you guys do to keep your brain in shape, or develop your brain, or discover it, or get inspired by it, or keep it in a shape. What kind of things you do. Thank you for being here and have a great day. Bye bye.